Have you ever heard someone use the term, I just want to age gracefully? I know I have. And in fact, I say it. I say it pretty regularly because I really do want to age gracefully. But what does that really mean? Is it just a buzzword to make us feel good about ourselves? And does it mean that we don't do anything? We just accept aging and let nature take its course? Or does it mean that we can embrace aging, but also do interventions for a little TLC? I'm definitely of the latter camp. What about you? I'm Dr. Mina, and welcome to my channel, The Skin Real, where I give real people real skin education and information so that they can make informed decisions about their skin health. This is my weekly recap episode where I break down my key takeaways from my recent interview with Dr. Shawna Flanagan. Now, Dr. Flanagan and I were recently at a dermatology conference, and we had a lot of fun looking at all the different lasers and devices and products that were out there and new and all of this. And we got to talking, and there had been an article published in the Wall Street Journal that came from the journal Nature Aging. And they had actually looked at about 108 participants. They had measured different molecules and microbes in our bodies that are a sign of activity and metabolism and health. And they measured these levels every few months in people using blood or stool. And the participants were men and women ages about 25 to 75. And what they found were there were these two distinct peaks in aging that occurred with people. And it was a little surprising to me because the peaks were, one was at 44 and the second one was at 60. And we had a good laugh about that because I'm 44 and she is 60. And so we thought that was pretty funny. So it got us talking about what does it mean to age, and then what does it mean to really age gracefully? So if you want to hear the full episode, definitely stick around to the end where I'm going to link that video. So for starters, it's important to know that aging is not just one sort of smooth downhill slope that happens. I think sometimes for women, we think it happens after menopause and like that's just the end of the road and it just keeps going down, down, down. But actually, there seem to be peaks with aging. The first one being in your mid 40s, the second one around 60. And that actually tracks pretty well with what I feel myself and what I hear from my friends and family who are about the same age, as well as what I hear from my patients, especially those who are a little bit older, more around the 60 mark. But in our 40s, you may have noticed you have more of a hangover after drinking. You can't stay out as late. You need more sleep, or you can't handle coffee like you used to. And you're not going crazy if you've noticed these things. There are changes going on in our bodies with our cellular activity, with our microbial balance that is changing how things affect us. So there are peaks and valleys with aging for sure. When I talk about aging gracefully, another word I use is pro-aging. Instead of anti-aging, trying to fight it, thinking of it in a very negative way, I like the term pro-aging because it's, to me, more positive, and to me, it reflects taking a proactive approach to aging and not just sitting back and letting it happen to me, but actually letting it happen for me. And I think there's three ways to approach pro-aging. One is through prevention. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Prevention is so important with so many things, but also with your skin health. The second one is maintenance. So maintaining good, healthy habits, not just with your skin, with your body, emotional habits, psychological habits. All of these things make a big difference. And then lastly, there's regeneration. And this is an area in medicine that is really, I think, primed to really take off in the next few years. And something really exciting. How do we actually help our cells regenerate and renew? So to me, those are the three steps to pro aging, or in my world, aging gracefully. Now, with prevention, I could say this. I feel like I say this all the time, but it's worth repeating. You have got to wear sunscreen. If you do not wear sunscreen, all the other stuff I'm going to talk about does not matter. Sunscreen is so important, or rather, I should say, preventing sun damage and the harm from UV radiation is so key if you care about your skin and how it looks. And hopefully, if you're listening to this, you do. But the sun, UV radiation from the sun contributes overwhelmingly to the signs of aging, the visible signs of aging that we see on our skin. So if you're not wearing sunscreen, please, please, please wear sunscreen and sun protect. That means wearing a hat, wearing sunglasses, wearing UPF clothing that helps protect you from the sun's rays. I forget who said this, but the best thing to do to have beautiful skin at 50 is to wear sunscreen in your 20s. So again, sunscreens number 1, 2, and 3. Now, what are some other preventative things you can do? Well, creating a healthy, effective skincare regimen is also key. So we already talked about sunscreen. I love a retinoid if you can handle the prescription strength. Otherwise, you can try an over-the-counter retinol or adapalene is a great option. I really credit using a retinoid for how my skin looks now. I used it when I had acne, and I pretty much stayed on it except when I had my children. And I have been able to get away with not doing any chemical peels or laser procedures to my face because of that. So I really credit sunscreen and retinoids to how my skin looks at 44. And it's about consistent use. It's not overnight quick results. It's about using it several nights a week over weeks to months to years, and you really will see the difference. Antioxidants are also a great tool in your skincare regimen. If you suffer from hyperpigmentation or discoloration of the skin, vitamin C is wonderful. It also just pairs beautifully with sunscreen. So you can put that on right after you wash your face in the morning, then put your sunscreen on. That's a great, great combination. And then Dr. Flanagan had brought up lasers for maintenance, for collagen boosting. And I actually only just this week had my very first laser procedure on my face for collagen boosting, but you don't necessarily have to do laser procedures in your 20s or 30s unless you want to. But this is a great way to boost collagen, to remove any discoloration, what we call dyschromia on the skin. And studies have shown that it actually can help remove precancers and potentially skin cancers. So if you are someone who maybe tanned in your 20s or 30s, and you do have some precancerous skin lesions, then doing laser treatments can be really helpful for that. Again, doing it before you really, 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 really think you need it is helpful. And hey, if it can prevent some skin cancers down the road, even better. The next thing in the pro-aging or aging gracefully toolbox is maintenance. So making healthy habits a priority. And I think sometimes it can feel so overwhelming when we're trying to create these healthy habits and we have these like lofty goals and we're going to work out for an hour or hour and a half every single day and then we can't do it and then we just quit and we don't do anything. But just trying to maintain healthy habits. They don't have to be these grandiose habits. Small little habits over your lifetime really make an impact. Try to be 1% better each day, right? Some people want to start doing a little bit of Botox, maybe in their 30s or 40s to help prevent getting some etched in lines. And I know some people think, oh, preventative Botox, that's not really how it works. But I actually do think it does work that way because if you can prevent moving the muscles that give you those etched in lines, then you will prevent having those deep lines down the road. Unfortunately, if you come see me and you already have those deep etched in lines without making any expression, Botox is not going to be the only thing that's going to prevent those. So doing preventative Botox, maybe some preventative lasers, along with your healthy skincare routine and maintenance is really, really important. And we also have to think beyond the skin for our skin health. Skincare is whole body care. I know you've heard me say that. So focus on what you're eating, your diet. Again, in your 40s, you may not be able to handle the things you used to eat. You may not be able to process alcohol or sugars like you used to or caffeine. Really prioritize sleep. I feel like in our youth, we burn the candles at both ends, and maybe you're having a family and you're also trying to get ahead at work, and it can feel like a lot of things all at once. But prioritizing sleep is so important. And this is something that I do not stray from nowadays. My kids know that mom's bedtime is 9:30 to 10 and that I will not be reading books or doing anything after that. So creating healthy habits now for your lifestyle is really, really important. Building in an exercise regimen that doesn't just have cardio, that also has some resistance training can be really important in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond to help build that muscle. Again, the goal is to build up your muscle before you really need it, before you really lose it. Same thing with collagen, right? I love biostimulants for maintenance. Build up that collagen before you have that depletion that for especially women we know is coming, especially after menopause. So there are tons of things that we can do. And then lastly, regeneration. So if you are older, or even if you're not older, there are some things that you need a little more intervention with. That's where devices, procedures, maybe surgical procedures can come into play if something bothers you aesthetically. None of this has to be done, but if it helps build your confidence and makes you feel better in your skin, then I'm all for people doing stuff like that. Because if you look good and you feel good about how you look, that does change how you present yourself to the world. And if there's something that bothers you about your appearance. Now, of course, I feel like having a board certified dermatologist in your corner is really going to be the best way to help your skin stay healthy over the different seasons of your life through those peaks and those valleys for sure. I just think if you're interested in aging gracefully, making small, consistent investments in not just your skin, but in your health in general. And that means your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, your community, all of that matters. So don't neglect that because you want to not just have a long life, most likely, you want to have a healthy life, health span, and a healthy skin span. I just made that word up, right? But you want your skin to be as healthy and vibrant not just for aesthetics, but because it helps with wound healing and it helps protect your underlying structures and also helps prevent bacteria, microbes from the outside getting in. So, our skin is so much more than just a pretty face, right? It's all of those things. And our skin really deserves to be taken care of and to be treated well so that we can truly age gracefully and have grateful aging. If you want to hear my full podcast episode, definitely check it out, and I will see you next week.